Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Appreciate you tuning in once again. Man, it's cold and nasty out tonight. Ugh. You know, they give you that little teaser that summer's here, but it's not. It's cold. It's raining. I hate it. It's a good day to be in the model room, drink some coffee. So, we're back in my Mustang, my IMSA motorsport car. I'm laying some decals down. They're actually going down way better than I thought. I had to be honest, I was a little nervous with you. I'll let you know that in the video. All that good stuff. So, without further ado, we'll take you over the bench and let's get started on this thing. It's starting to come along. It's coming along. We're getting it. We're getting it. We are going to decal the hood. Yes, I'm nervous of doing this, and I'll tell you why. Because A, they're old decals. B, I don't want to screw them up. And C, if something does happen, it's not like I can go to the store and get another model kit. They're obviously hard to come by. So, yeah, with that being said, we have some fresh water. I have everything I have that I need is handy. I got Q-tips. I got everything ready to go. And like I said, I don't know. I'm just a little nervous about it. I'm a little nervous. I'm not going to lie. That's all it is. Like I say, I'm sure it'll be fine. So we're going to start with the hood and go that route. So we're going to start with the big guy in the back first. And I'll work my way to the front, I think is how I'm going to do it. So those need to go like that. And obviously this guy's going to sit here. And looking at this, the decal sits flush. So I believe this decal goes down into the vent, is what it looks like. So it should be good. Should be good time. All that good stuff. So here we go. Got to get her done. Got to get it going. So, and this will tell me if the decals are junk or not. So this hood's been wet sanded. All that good stuff. So other than that, once I put the decals on, I'm going to let these set for obviously overnight, if not longer. And then I'm going to go in and then wash the hood. And then we're going to give it a nice heavy coat of 2K on top of it. And then if we get any imperfections, anything like that, we'll sand, do the appropriate steps from there, and see how we come out from that point. All right, here we go. Now or never. Let's do it. She's in the water. We're curling. We're curling. Okay, we'll see what happens here. So we got some microsol set here. We're ready to go. So as always, I put my decal in just for a little bit, pull it out, and then let it kind of sit on the table from that point. Don't want to get too impatient and try to slide them if they're not ready and then rip it. That's what'll happen. So being these are older, I don't know how good the glue is. We're going to put a little micro set on there. We're going to put that down first, just to kind of seal the deal here before we get started. Help improve adhesion, it says. We'll see how that goes. Okay, how we doing, buddy? Nothing. We have movement. Very nice. They look like they're going to be okay. Let that set just for a few more seconds, and then we'll begin. Like I say, it's a little nerve-wracking just because, you know, it's a one-time thing. I'm sure the glue on it's pretty thick. I can tell already it's kind of thick. The decals are actually very thick, so that's a plus. Okay, so far so good. So we're going to have to walk this down in that little crevice there. That looks very cool. Something like that. Like this guy. Poke him down in there a little bit. Like so. Like so. Very cool. Make sure we are nice and straight, because those straight lines, you're really going to notice that. That is for sure. Tucks up nice around the back. That looks pretty good. Like so. So far, so good. Does a little wraparound around the back. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Actually, those decals go down really nice. Probably nicer than some of these new decals, I'll tell you that much. Okay, and if it doesn't curl all the way around the back, I'm not worried about that right now. We can always fix that later on. All right, so number two and two. So I might just put these on together, knowing how nice that went on, and we'll do the final piece last. So while that's sitting for a minute, back to the body work. I was going to repaint this. I decided not to, because it's just a shade of transparency. I mean, it's very, very faint. I'm sure with the decals on it, you probably wouldn't notice it. I'm going to hand paint this a little bit because there's a little bit of white come through. Just give it a couple dots where the white's showing through, and I'm going to hand paint this back on here. I was going to re-tape it and spray it, but tell you what, guys, this was a lot of taping to get that taped out. So what I'm going to do is, before I decal this anyways, I'm going to give this a wet sand. I already did this, but I'm going to wet sand the blue a little bit. So if there is any imperfections in it on the hand painting part, which is just going to be a few spots here and there, like here, little spots where the blue didn't quite cover. So nothing major. That's my major spot right there. And just a little bit you can see on the edging right here, which isn't a big deal. So I'm going to go through and do that here quick after I get the decals done. So these were this way because that tear was from that. Because I don't want to rush it because I know what's going to happen. I'm going to end up ripping them. It'll be game over. Alright, so we'll get this done. And I tell you what, guys, like I mentioned before, I was super nervous putting these on. I've been actually kind of procrastinating on it because, like, man, what if I ruin it? What if I rip it? What if something, you know, and I wasn't sure. So once I get all these on and I get them to where they line up really nice, and I'll put some microsol on it and I'll seal the deal. Alright, we have movement. Dip it a little bit more, get that extra glue off there. I guess I'm kind of lucky that it's a white car because you're not going to see some of the extra glue. As you can see, these older decals, when you start swiping it, the glue kind of comes off with it, but you can wipe some of that off. I'll be honest with you, I don't know if this is the best idea doing it this way or if I should just did one at a time. But we're going to find out real quick here. I think we're going to be alright. Okay, we get that last one in there. Those going really, really nice, guys. This is going a lot nicer than I anticipated. So while we're messing around with that, we get this guy soaking because it takes a little minute to get it going. Okay, so I got the other stripe on. So I got the front one lined up like perfectly center, but I'll tell you what, I am having a heck of a time lining up those center ones. This front one here went on really, really nice. Like I say, super amazed how these went on. I just want when you look up the body, they're pretty level. Okay, guys, I think we have it. So you looked up this hood there, they're all pretty even. Looks pretty good. We're going to leave it just like that. That turned out really cool. So now we're going to put some microsol on there and hope for the best. Hopefully they lay down nice and not get all funky and curl and everything else. Now what we're going to do is let this sit and dry for overnight, and then we'll put the 16 on once this cures out. All that good stuff. Try and get some of this water out of here without sliding the decal because I got these pretty good. That was a little bit of a challenge, I'm not going to lie. I figured the hood was going to be the hardest part. But you know, once I get the hood done, the rest of it should be pretty easy from there. So hopefully these sit in here good. Because I see they're puckered up a little bit right now. So hopefully they'll lay flat for me. So I like to use these little testers micro sponges to put the microsol on. I found this works really well. So it looks like I'm due for some more here pretty soon. Yep, I like it. Glue her down. Just gonna give it one coat all the way across, and we'll let the solvent do the rest. Not gonna get any more than that, like get it heavy or anything, just to make sure it lays down nice. Okay, we're still looking pretty good. So hopefully those decals will pull themselves into those holes. I probably should have took a knife and just did a little relief cut in there, but we'll see how they dry out with this. I knew when one would move. I knew it. All right, let's slide this guy back over. Okay. All right, we're gonna let that sit and we'll move on. All right, while we're letting that hood cure out, we're gonna work on this a little bit. Like I said, I'm gonna touch this up and we'll get it decaled. Like I said, I'm just going to do a little bit on the edge, just get rid of that heavy edge on it. I don't need to do a lot. I don't want to burn through it. It's not that thick. I know some of that blue is on this white paint a little bit. Not a lot, just a little bit soften that edge. It's fortunate I really didn't get no dust in there, so that's good. Probably about it for that. So just notice as I'm wiping this down, I see there's a dust spot right here in the blue. So we'll see if we can take that down just a little bit. It's not bad, it's a little there, but I don't want to go too far because I don't want to make it. I don't make it to where I have to repaint it. So I'm going to go through and touch that up real quick on this here, and kind of go from there, and we'll let that sit, cure out for a day or so, and then we're going to go through and decal the rest of it. So I'm just going to touch this up a little bit, just make sure it's clean, mostly from the blue paint, because I know when I took the tape off, yeah, I got a little impatient, and it was still a little wet, so it touched some of the blue, or some of the white here. Not a big deal, but we'll take care of it. So I'm just basically just wet sanding this edge, just to knock that down a little bit, so when I put the decal on, you're not going to see that line, that paint line. And I'm using 5000, so it's not very aggressive, because I don't want it aggressive to start with. Okay, I'm not doing a heavy sanding on it, just a little bit. This here, I had kind of a jagged line with my tape. Not sure what that was all about. I don't know how much I'm going to get rid of. Not that it's too big a deal, because the decal will cover most of that. But like I say, I don't want a bunch of bleed through on it. All right, we'll sand this down just a little bit here, and we'll call it good. I may even do is just decal this right now, get that drying, or I probably should get this gray painted here first. That's probably be the wisest idea before I get too far. I'll work on this a little bit, and I'll bring you guys back in just a second. All right, so we're gonna get this taped up, and get this cleaned up, and we're gonna get that painted back in silver again. So I'm gonna tape it. I'm not gonna hand paint that, because I need that. I want that nice and smooth looking. Because if I brush it, I just don't see it coming out kind of like the way I'd like to see it. So the silver will cover pretty easy. As long as I do a pretty good tape job along the blue, I should be okay. So we're gonna get that taped up, and we'll see how that turns out. Okay guys, it's an abomination, but you know what? Yeah, so I don't have any of the blue tape touching the other paint. So I got this taped off, so I put Tamiya down first, then stuck the blue to that. So hopefully we're good. Yeah, so because I don't have any wider Tamiya, and obviously this 6mm stuff would have been like, maybe that might have been 4. Will take forever to tape off, and I don't want to waste the whole thing, so we improvised. So this should work for what we got to do, and we'll just give it a quick spray, and we'll take a look at it here in a few seconds. So for paint, we're putting the LP72. This is the mica silver, just in the lacquer. So we'll get this shot, and we'll take a look. All right, guys. So this is day 2 on my decals, and those dried out super, super nice. The only thing I noticed, and almost looks stained, is my microsol left like this weird little stain right here. It's a little ring. So, and it's got a little wrinkle right there. I don't know if I could put a little more on there and draw that down some more. Be noticeable in the clear coat. So I don't want to pick at it too much. Nope, I actually got it laid down by pressing it hard. Maybe we'll be alright. I doubt it, but I just don't want to rip it. Anyways, that looks a little better. I don't know if I could maybe wash that, try to wipe that up there. I'm not sure. But they do have the big 16 that goes on top of that, so we might be alright with it either way. Or I might put a little water in there and just see if it kind of clears up, because when I clear coat it, we'll go from there. So that turned out pretty nice. It's pretty straight. I'm going to look up in the camera here, see if I'm... So that's my biggest worry, is keeping everything looking nice when you look down the hood. So that looks pretty good. I see they're a little pulled up in the center. I'm not overly worried about that. So, like I say, I may give it a little bit more on down here, just to see if it flattens it out. But we got that 16 to put on the hood. So yeah, so that should look pretty good on there. So I may do is try to wipe that off first, take a little water and see if that washes off there. I can't even say anything. It washes off. And then if it doesn't, that's okay. Like I say, we'll just put the 1/6 over top of it, and hopefully you really don't see it. And we'll kind of move on. So it looks like the 1 and the 6, it's pretty close together. So we'll just do them as a pair. First, we're going to see if this will wipe off. Either way, if it doesn't, I see it disappears. Either way, so we're good either way. Ah, yes, it come off. Beautiful. We're back in business. She's nice. She looks good. Okay, it turned out really nice. Okay, so now for the big 1/6 on the hood. Get that bad boy put on there, and then we'll move on to the rest of the car. So I'm gonna put this on here, and I'll show you the rest of it once I get it done. because I'm sure there'll be some inappropriate content maybe. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. So 1/6 in the puddle. In the pond. Now that the decals are laying down nice, it's kind of getting me a little gung-ho on getting this done. Alright, looks like we're up and going. Yes, very nice. Looks good. What do you think? It's like that? Yep. The only thing that's kind of odd is you can see through the white. It's okay. Not much you can do with it. Looks pretty good right there. I think we'll leave it right there. We'll squeeze her out a little bit and we'll call her good. And according to the box art, the numbers are almost touching each other. I'm going to leave them a little apart because we got that decal roll right there going, so I don't want to get too carried away with that. Pretty good. Alright, I'm going to leave it like that. Alright, well, we're going to let that dry. I'm not going to put any microsol on that. I'm just going to let it dry like it is. And I'm going to put a little bit down here on the edges, see if we can get it to wrinkle back down a little bit more. One little touch here so we can get that to flatten down a little more. And then we'll call the hood done. We'll let that dry and we'll go in and wash it. And we'll get it clear coated. Alright, we're going to get the rest of the car done. And I'll bring you guys back when we get it finished. Alright guys, so those decals turned out pretty nice. So I got the microsol on there, so they're kind of settling down yet. But they look good looking from the side. They look nice and even. So those turned out pretty good. And we got the body done. Yes, those look pretty nice. Like I say, they're sitting, drying, all that good stuff. Those actually went on a lot easier than I thought they were. So it worked out good with my blue paint line, because that's all I had to do is just follow the top of the paint line, and they went on just nice as can be. So I'm hoping those corners settle a little bit. Yeah, because they didn't want to stick down. This side's working all right, but that side's kind of fighting me. But we'll see, we'll see. So I'm gonna keep finishing. I'm gonna keep putting some decals on this, and we'll see how she turns out. All right, guys. So we got majority of it decaled. Not bad. So half the sheet was actually really nice. And as I got to the other side of the sheet, it was more yellowed. So you can see here, see the top of the 6, got kind of yellowish on it. And I know you guys have tricks out there, set in the sun. I mean, I don't know. It's winter time here, so none of that stuff would help me out. Most of them laid down really nice. The only ones I really had problems with was on the right side. So as you can see down here, you can really see the outline of this decal. That was good around the blue, around the fender. But this side here, yikes. That just ugly. And I still got to clear coat it yet. So what I ended up doing on this is I took my knife, and it had the overhang. You know how the decal has the edging on it? It was so hazy, like with the glue marks and everything else in it. I couldn't get it to go away. And putting microset, doing both, it almost made it worse. So when I put the number on the door and all those decals, there's nothing on those. I found that the microset and the microsol was actually making it a more bigger problem, because the decals are so old. It's like burning them, and it's like, they don't like it. It does okay. I mean, it helped out because obviously in the top, you got that kind of that wrinkle in there. Without that microset, that wouldn't have done that. Same as back here, that did form that nice across there. So it worked out really good. Just some of the decals didn't like it. They kind of feathered on the edge. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. So on the side here, like I say, I still have some little bit of edging right here. I just can't get rid of it. So I took my knife and I cut the edge of the decal right at the very end, so that little overlap that all decals have. I took that off because that's what was like fogging almost. So the hood, the front clip is done. Like I say, there's a little yellowing around the decals, not bad, but a little spot there. I see must not have come off when I cut it. There we go. So not bad, a little yellowing, but so the decals are 1995. So looking at the decal sheet, I don't know if you can see this or not. They actually put like 95, like 11 to 95 in the decal. You can see it right there. So it says 1195. So I mean that's still what, 30 years old almost, or around that neighborhood, 29. I mean, so that's still some pretty old decals for what they are. They actually still turn out pretty nice. So the other side, like I say, this side actually went down really nice. This side I'm having the issues with. It went okay, but decal on that door, I can't get that thing to lay flat for nothing. And it's been wet overnight and it still feels like soft and loose. So I put microsol on it and the whole 9 yards, and it's not happy. So I did the same thing. I cut the bottom of it off, and it's still kind of punky in the center, so I'm just going to let it sit and dry. I tried wiping it a little bit, and I actually started to tear it a little bit, and I thought, oh, leave it, let it go, let it go, let it go. Sorry, I'm looking at the model and keeping you in focus. So that's why I didn't do the 1/6 on the side, because I wanted to let that dry first before I put those decals on. The stripe over the top, that didn't go too bad. That lined up pretty nice. It took me a little bit to get everything lined up nice. So when you're looking at it along the side, everything lines up pretty good. So that turned out pretty nice. So the other thing I didn't realize, as I'm putting decals on, I did not have this back fascia on here, like the back where the taillights and that motorsport license plate piece is. And as I'm putting this decal, I'm like, wait a minute, that wraps around the bottom. So of course now it's game on. I got to put that back panel on quick, because now I got the decal ready to go. And I thought, ooh, whoops. And the one around that spoiler, I thought that was going to be a tough one. That was probably the easiest one in the kit. I just put it on there, lined it up, and just wrapped it around, and that actually went really nice. I was kind of worried about that one. So yeah, so they didn't go on too bad. That'd been nice if they were newer. Maybe I should have sought out to one of these decal companies and maybe got some new ones for it, but it's okay. They still worked. So I'm gonna really lay the clear on it and wet sand it probably and give it 2 coats of clear, as if I got time. Like I mentioned in previous video, there's some model shows coming up and I'd really like to take it to them. So I'll see what my time frame is. And as usual, I procrastinate and just wait the last minute. So that's what you get. So anyways, guys, that's where I'm at with this. And yeah, so I'm going to let this cure out for another day probably. And then I'll get that 1/6 on there. Let it cure for another day, and then I'll clear coat it. So we'll see how time goes. And we'll go from there. The hood's probably okay to clear coat. I'd like to clear it just to see how good it clears. Make sure that it does clear okay. So I do have some feathering on the edges in those vents. It did not want to sit down in there very good, and it wanted to lift. Like I said, they are older decals, so kind of what you end up with at times. Other than that, for how old they are and for the kind of the complexity of some of them, they actually went on very nice for what it is. So there we have it. That's the Mustang so far. So I'm going to wrap this video up. It's probably running a lot longer than I'd like to see it. So once again, guys, I appreciate you guys tuning in, checking out the channel, and we will see you guys on the next build. If you guys have not, go down and check out Hobby Nut Models. All the paint and everything for this come from there. And check out his website and get yourself some. Once again, we will see you guys, and you guys have a good one. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time.